It's Wiccanry, you know, some light, something
Light
that
Wiccanry?
could potentially get you burned at the stake, but that really is just
I like
light
it.
Wiccanry.
I like living right there, right before the
right
burn.
there at the edge, yeah, right before you start making a call to Satan. I have ease with my dynamic with sadness. We have good communication.
Yeah.
And I'm not afraid of sadness.
I'm Rachel Martin, and this is Wildcard, the game where cards control the conversation. My guest this week is Maya Hawke. When season 5 of Stranger Things opens, an evil demon is still trying to destroy the universe, and Maya Hawke's character Robin is working as a DJ at the local radio station. In that moment, all Robin wants to do is play Pretty in Pink by the Psychedelic Furs and dedicate it to her girlfriend. Music is her antidote to the ills that have befallen her world. And it doesn't feel like a stretch to say that Maya Hawke has found her own solace in music. It was the other half of her creative brain during the 6 years she worked on Stranger Things, and she is still at it. Maya's newest album is called Maitreya Corso, and I am so very happy to welcome Maya Hawke to Wildcard. Hi!
Hi, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
So, you know how this goes. We're just going to start. Round 1, memories.
I'm ready.
Okay?
Let's go.
First 3 cards, Maya. You pick 1, 2, or 3.
I'm being called to 3.
Yeah. When was a moment you felt proud of yourself as a kid?
That's a great question. And I'm trying to think about my answer. I feel like there were moments, it's hard to separate one's memories or stories they've heard about themselves as a kid that they are proud of now. Like I'm now very proud that I used to let kids down the slide before me. Like I would stand at the top of the slide. I was really uncomfortable with anyone standing behind me.
Yeah.
I didn't want the pressure on my turn. I didn't want to have to go so fast because kids were waiting.
Yes.
So I would just let kids go in front of me.
Totally relate to that.
So that I didn't have to have like anyone riding my tail, you know, on the slide.
Right, because they come up fast. And then you're like, I
Yeah.
was trying to slide at my own pace.
Yeah, and I'm proud of that now. But I remember being proud. I was cast as one of 3 Jennies in the first school play I ever did, which was Jenny in the School for Cats. And I was very proud to be one of the 3 Jennies. I had no expectation that that would happen. And I remember just being like, wow, I didn't think that anyone liked me. I didn't think my teachers saw me. And it was this moment of feeling like I was seen. And so, yeah, that's a moment I remember feeling proud, and then a moment I'm proud of. 2 for 1.
I have so many questions. Why were there 3 Jennies?
Because don't you remember from school plays when there aren't enough parts for all the kids? They take the big parts and they divide them up.
Yeah.
So like one does act 1, act 2, and act 3.
So Jenny was like the lead. You were just the one
Jenny
of
was the lead.
trifecta of
Yes.
Jennies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I was act 2 Jenny.
There will be people who hear this and think to themselves, Maya, but why did you think you weren't going to be good at acting when your parents, Uma Thurman and Ethan Hawke, are very good at acting?
Well, I didn't really want to be an actor at that point in time. That was a similar point in time that I got made fun of on the school bus because there were other little girls who went to Chapin who...
Wait, what was Chapin?
I went to Brearley, and Brearley and Chapin were rivals.
Okay.
So there were other girls who went to Chapin on the bus, and they were like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I said I wanted to be a veterinarian or a farmer. And they said, that's so dumb. You should want to be a movie star. And I said, why? And they were like, because your parents are movie stars. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
I didn't really have an awareness of that at the time. At all. That was kind of the beginning of my awareness of understanding my parents.
Good for your parents.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, not quite as impressive as Kate Bush's kids, who apparently found out Kate Bush was Kate Bush when her song was used on the Stranger Things soundtrack. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. But so I was a little earlier than that.
Yeah.
I always found that I was socially happiest in the artistic environments of school. in play rehearsal, in like creative writing classes, that was where I was socially most comfortable. And so that really pulled me in that direction before I'd even had it as a twinkle in my eye of what I might want to do professionally.
Yeah. It was just a good time.
It was just where people were open-hearted with each other. You know, it was just where people were willing to play, and they weren't like, you look stupid in that, you know, or why can't you do that? And it was where there was no pressure on me to read because it was all about spoken language and memorized language, and that I was really good at. And so, I don't know, it was like, but I think I also grew up kind of understanding art as something in the water of everybody's life, which I now know is not true.
Yeah.
But I thought it was just, this is something everybody does as their hobby. My parents, of course, they are doing the school play too when I go with them to set. This is, everybody participates in the arts.
Yeah.
And then some people do other stuff for money. Some people don't have to do other stuff for money, but everyone does the arts, was kind of my understanding.
Yeah.
So it seemed totally normal. Of course I'd do the school play. Everybody does the arts.
I love that so much. Also, we should just note, because you said it, reading was hard, and you've talked about that for you.
Yeah. Well, I'm dyslexic, and the first school that I went to was a very kind of straightforward, academically competitive environment. And I think that if I went to a different kind of school, like if I went to a Montessori school or a school like I ended up going to for high school or a Waldorf school, I would maybe not have been diagnosed or noticed, I think, because it wasn't so bad, but it was bad enough to deeply be unable to keep up academically with the fast-paced kind of traditional education that I was getting as a young girl. Same place I did Jenny and the School for Cats. And so that kind of affected my path. But it did take them until like I was in the third grade to figure out I was dyslexic because I was such a good memorizer. I would like come in with
you can get away with a lot that way.
You can get away with a lot that way.
And you were good at reading your lines.
Yeah, and just sort of, they kept bumping me into lower and lower and lower and lower reading groups until they were like, you should probably leave. And I was like, okay.
Yeah. Okay, next question. 1, 2, or 3.
Okay, I get a sense for 1 this time.
I like it.
No, two. Sorry.
I love an audible in the moment. It's so interesting to me. It's like, we could have gone here. We're not going here. We're going here.
This is essentially how I do tarot card readings. I have no idea how to read tarot cards, but I'll just draw like a couple cards at random from the deck, and then I'll put my hand over them and try to feel which one calls to me and pick that one up. And that's how I give myself a tarot card reading.
That's how I want everyone to play this game. I want there to be like some kind of vibe you're picking up. And this is the card you were vibing on. So what's something your parents taught you to love?
Oh, well, I mean, that sort of fits so beautifully in with what we were just talking about, because the arts is definitely one of them. But I'm trying to think, that one's so obvious. I'm trying to think of something else more kind of odd or surprising. You know, my mother really taught me to love and respect nature, and to like love gardening and being in nature, and to love thinking about like herbal remedies to things.
Really?
And like just like you know, you get a cold and she would make me a pineapple skin tea because the enzymes in the pineapple skin are good for getting rid of your cold. And it's stuff like that that's just sort of like witch adjacent, you know, like slightly, like not, you know, we're not bubbling
not
over it.
Witch.
Yeah, it's not, you know, toil and trouble, but it's Wiccanry, you know, some light, something
like
that
Wiccanry?
could potentially get you burned at the stake, but that really is just light Wiccanry.
I like living right there, right before the burn.
Right there at the edge, right before you start making a call to Satan.
So how did the love of, I mean, you did grow up in Manhattan. So we're talking like a balcony,
and
like herb garden?
Oh,
okay.
No, I was between Manhattan and upstate New York, and my mom is extremely like nature focused, and she's a gorgeous gardener. Even a part of not knowing what my parents' deal was professionally was because most of the time I spent with my mother, she was barefoot in our garden on her knees, like picking stinging nettles to make soups out of, and So I really, which is also another incredible herbal remedy for what ails you.
I was just going to ask, is stinging nettle soup good?
It's amazing.
Really?
It's my favorite soup, and it's so hard to get stinging nettles, and you can only get them like really this time of year. And the only place in the city that they sell them is Union Square Farmers Market. They're like at no grocery stores. So, and they're amazing and so good for you.
So good for you. Okay, stinging nettle soup. That's
You have to blanch them first to get rid of the stinging.
obviously, Maya.
part.
Obviously,
Yeah.
you have to blanch them. Yes.
But it's a witchiness, like a
Witchiness,
kind of
yeah.
witchy love of nature and a love of herbal remedies and kind of different sorts of medicines for what ails you.
Is your dad magic? I mean, did he?
He's magic in a different way. He's a magical thinker.
Yeah. I see that. I see that.
I wouldn't say he's witchy, but he is like, he used to do like treasure hunts and scavenger hunts for me as a kid. And like where he'd write little notes and like paint a map on a watercolor and cut it up. So he's like crafty and magical, but he's not witchy,
Yeah. Yeah. I
you know?
Okay. Next one. 1, 2, or 3?
3.
3. What's something you took away from your first job? What was your first job?
Oh, interesting. Well, my very, very first job was babysitting.
Yeah.
And I took away from that I wasn't going to do a lot of babysitting.
It wasn't your life's calling. No.
Well, yeah, that I didn't want to
We
be
should
doing
exempt babysitting as a first job, but yes.
that. We should. And then my real first job was Little Women for the BBC.
Huh?
But yeah, I turned 19 doing Little Women, and I really learned a lot about friendship. I'd never had a group of friends, really. I'd had different kind of individual friendships, and I vacationed in some people's groups of friends. But the bonding element that happened between the sisters and Lori was so intense. It was unlike any friend group experience of my life. And I learned that I'm kind of not a friend group person, even though that experience was amazing. I'm really an individual friendships person, and I love it when like everyone becomes friends, but the group dynamics are intense for me.
Yeah.
And I was kind of whisked away into them. But I was so lucky to be with the most wonderful people I'd ever met and the most wonderful actors, and we had such a profound time together. And so I think I learned that I'd made good decisions, that I wanted to be an actor, that I was exactly where I belonged. And I learned about friend groups and love and kind of sisterhood in a way that I hadn't known about it before, which is also, I'm now reminded that I also modeled before I ever did that, which was a job. And I learned that being a model is really hard. That I thought it was that like I learned about just like how much harder that job was than I thought it was. On your like really on my spirit
hard?
at the time.
Oh, on your spirit.
Both, kind of physically hard too, like long hours, crazy days. But on my spirit, it was hard because none of the clothes fit me. They were all too small on my first modeling job. And then and they'd only brought clothes that were too small.
I'm so glad you said the clothes were too small and not I was too big for the clothes.
Yeah, they were too small.
Yeah, they were too small for you.
They were too small. I was the only person doing this campaign, and the clothes didn't fit me. And it wasn't like people were like, oh my God, we're so sorry the clothes didn't fit you. They were like, how do we get you into these clothes?
So they were like, you are too big, and these clothes are the perfect size.
They were like, you are too big. Yeah, they were like, you are too big, and these clothes are the perfect size, and what are we going to do about it?
Nah.
And it was sort of like, I don't know. So that was also, and I've now told you about like 9 jobs to answer your question that all in one way or another are and are not my first job.
Maya,
but
as
I learned a lot.
expected, you are knocking it out of the park here.
I'm very verbose. You can pick and choose whatever answers you like.
Okay, we're going to pull back from the game for a few minutes to talk about your new album, Maitreya Corso. This is your 4th studio album.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's a very big deal. It's a lot of you. I mean, some of the point of bringing up Stranger Things, obviously you're in the cultural firmament in such a big way through that role. But you're also, it's an ensemble cast. It's the Duffer Brothers production. It came out of their brain. And
Totally.
For you, I imagine music gets to be this thing that is just yours.
Yeah, I mean, I think that my thing with music is that I can't stop. I just can't stop myself from wrestling with like ideas and emotions and feelings, and this is the way that I have learned, and that I learned as a kid really to kind of, when you have an epiphany of sorts and you want to log it. You want to be like, oh, okay, I want to try to track this.
Right.
It's sort of like my diary where I'm like, okay,
I was going to say, you write it in a journal.
I just changed. Yeah. And it's like, okay, I just changed. I just leveled up. I just grew. I just learned something I didn't know.
Right.
And I want to find the right words to express that lesson I learned. And then kind of freeze it in this locked case.
Yeah.
And that's my songwriting process. And I just kind of can't stop doing it. And so that's why we're on to album 4. But then weirdly putting it out is like so scary because it's both this private you thing, this logbook you've made.
Yeah.
And then it's you're watching it. I think of releases almost more as funerals than birthdays because it's not yours anymore. It's now going to become its whole own thing. And
that's right.
You
People
probably won't even be able to understand.
And they're going to take pieces away, and it might not be the pieces you thought they would take away, and then it becomes something else to other people.
Yeah. And I think years later, you can look at what it was to other people and really see what they saw. And I think that is a beautiful process. Like I have so much love for my first album now, and I didn't for years after it. But I now look back on it and I'm like, oh, wow, I can now look at this and see what other people saw when they listened to it. And I can feel what that moment in my life was and have so much love for that person that I was. But right away, it just feels like this profound moment of misunderstanding. Like you took your clothes off in the lunchroom and everyone's looking at you and they see something totally different than who you are.
Yeah. God.
And so the release process is always hard.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So introduce us to Maitreya Corso.
Well, I would say the record's about 2 things. It's about learning how to be a public person, learning how to manage workaholism and how to protect one's private life from that.
Yeah.
How to care about your private life, how to put energy into that. And while still being so ambitious and wanting so much for yourself and wanting to do work you love and wanting to work with people you admire, and how to kind of balance those 2 things. And I think it's about falling in love. And in a really deep way. I think a lot of the time when people talk about falling in love, they're talking about kind of limerence and lust. And I hope that what this record explores is a kind of deeper romantic friendship, or at least the aspiration to move towards that.
You made it with your husband, Christian Lee Hudson. Where do we hear his imprint on these songs? Can you point to a song where you're like, oh, there he is?
Oh, totally. I mean, there's one song called Slacker in the Rye, because I wrote this this chorus that was like, I haven't done much with a lot I've been given, treat you like a crutch and a lover and a living. And it came to me with the words and the music, and I showed it to Christian. He was like, that's awesome, I love that. And I spent a long time trying to write verses to it and eventually sort of hit a wall. And we were on a road trip, and he just started, like, he writes amazingly when he drives. And he just started going like, pacing outside in my new clothes, kicking bald tires with my steel toes. And I was like, oh, that's it. Those are the words for haven't done much, chorus.
Yeah.
And then we spent that whole drive just passing back and forth, working on these lyrics. And like, he'd be like, he'd be like, I have a lyric from years ago that was, remember that night back in Salt Lake, a couple hundred screenagers resting the stage. And I was like, oh, amazing. I like, okay, what if the next part was, I felt like something in a hedge maze. And he was like, no, a rat in a lab maze. And I was like, oh, okay. And he goes, and then I'm like, all I ever cared about was keeping you safe. And he's like, yes, that's great. And so we really like, you feel his imprint, and he wrote that music to the chorus. So like, that's a great song of just like describing how we wrote together and where his imprint is. It's lyrical, it's musical, but his biggest imprint is, or to me, I mean, I don't know if it's fair to say his biggest imprint, but a really important imprint he had was the imprint he has had on my confidence in myself as a musician. I just got off tour where I played guitar on stage for the first time, and he owes all the credit for that, for making me believe that I could. I really did not believe that I could, and I did not believe it was important that I did. And I wanted to, but I was like, you and Will and Ben and all these people we work with all the time are so much better guitar players than me. Why should I play? He's like, because it's your song and you wrote your song and you're going to feel so proud standing up there and playing. And he was totally right. And he helped me practice and learn. And he, just started encouraging me when we were making the record. Like I would be walking down the rooms of our house, folding laundry, singing a melody. And he'd be like, that's a good melody. Remember it, record it. And I'd be like, no, I'm not a melody writer. You are. And he really taught me to believe in myself as a melody writer.
What a wonderful person. Because you can live a whole lifetime being like, I'm not good enough to do that. There are experts who do that. That's not my thing. I can't. And it sounds like he's just like, that erase all that.
Erase all that.
Erase all of it. You do what makes you happy. You get to make art. You get to play guitar and write songs.
And the classic thing of like the point of art is to try to get your you-ness on the page, right? Like your uniqueness. And he's like, all of those things that you see as your limitations are what make you you, and your strengths are a part of what make you you, and your strength is your ability to like, to be that bravely. Yeah. And everyone wants, that's what's inspiring, right? Is to watch somebody be themselves.
That's right. Well, sounds like you picked a good one, Maya.
Thanks. I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Okay. Round 2. We're back in it. 1, 2, or 3?
1.
How comfortable are you with change?
Heavily comfortable with change. Really uncomfortable with transitions.
Like, differentiate those for me. You're fine once you get through the transition, but you don't like the anticipation of the change.
Yes.
Oh my God, I am the opposite.
Really?
Put me on this side of the mountain, like when I can anticipate this is going to happen. I love right here. I love being on the cusp of something. It's my favorite thing, to be in anticipation of change.
The change.
I don't think it's healthy, to be perfectly honest. I think it's a little mental. But I'm very interested in a person who intentionally doesn't like the transition.
Well, I think that, like, for me, I think it comes from going back and forth between my parents' house when I was a kid. And the hardest days of that were the day where the transition happened.
Totally. The packing, like, right? Aren't you like bringing a little backpack?
Yeah, the packing, and also just like the spiritual shift in rules and expectations. Yeah. And like energy and values. And I think like getting ready to move through that shift was really hard for me as a kid. And I think now I feel it come up whenever shifts happen. Like transition days, like we talk about them in our house with like hey, why are you being weird? Oh, it's because it's a transition day. Got it. Like, it's a day we have to go to the airport. A day one person has to go to the airport and the other one doesn't. Like, I would say, like, one of the most common fights we get in is, like, I sometimes get to where I'm like, if you're gonna leave, leave. Like, that's, like, please.
Can we just get to the other side of the leaving?
Can we just get to the other side? Like, I'm terrible at goodbye. Like, I'm terrible at goodbyes and doing all that. So I really struggle with that. What you said I relate to. There are things with like big life changes, like moving or, all these things where when I'm thinking about doing them, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
When I'm doing them, it's horrible.
Right.
And then when I'm on the other side of it, I'm so happy that I did it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like I understand what you're saying, and I don't think it sounds crazy.
Thank you for affirming me. I've often thought that, but it gets a little dangerous when I it's like a high I get from the anticipation of the change. And so
I get like this too. I get this
as
way
you
too.
grow up, you need to stop changing some things. You just need to settle and live your life, and you make certain commitments, and you have to be an adult. But I'm always like, oh, what's a thing that could change? And now I'm going to sit and think about it and all the possibility that exists around it. And
I mean, my entire notebook. It's a creative space.
Yeah.
It's generative.
Yeah.
My notebooks are full of plans for homes I'll never live in.
That's right.
And ideas about I'm constantly talking about moving to Sweden. And I mean, probably
to
never
be clear,
will.
Sweden is lovely.
Sweden's amazing.
Yes,
I mean,
support that
Here
choice.
this Sweden, if you called and said we would like you back, our daughter of our lands, I would return. But I'm 1/4 Swedish,
Nice.
and I milk it.
Yes. Totally.
I milk it. I make Swedish pancakes and Swedish meatballs, and I do Swedish interior design.
This is my people's food.
This is my people's food. I mean, my grandmother is very Swedish, and she kind of set the tone for our traditions. And we do Christmas at night, and we do so. I milk it, but I did also grow up with a large influence of the culture on the kind of matriarchy of my family.
Yeah. Okay. Next 3 in this round: insights 1, 2, or 3.
1 again.
1 again. What's something you thought about yourself that you had to unlearn?
I needed to unlearn believing that I wasn't physically strong. I really used to believe that my relationship with my body was all about what it looked like, not what it could do. I hated sports. I hated all, and I really had to unlearn that I was bad at that. And free myself up to be willing to play physically and be in touch with my body and believe that my body was more about what it could do than what it looked like.
Yeah.
And so that was a big one for me.
That's a big one.
And a really big one that sounds silly, but was I needed to unlearn that I was crazy. Which
Say more.
I was a precocious young person.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be an adult.
Yeah.
And I did a lot of adult stuff before a lot of my friends, and was in adult relationships before a lot of my friends were, and messing up in adult relationships and making
What do you mean?
big
What do you mean? Like friendships with grown-ups or romantic relationships?
No, I mean
that were
romantic
on an adult
relationships
level?
with adults.
Oh! You were young and you had romantic relationships with people who were older.
Who were older than me, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then also with my friends, that also made me seem older because I was in this adult relationship, and then I would. So I really had kind of an idea about myself that I was like, I'm crazy Maya. Crazy Maya's always going through a hard breakup, or has a new big crush and is madly obsessed with this person, or wants to make a big change and move, and wants to I had this kind of idea that I was crazy because I was spending a lot of time with people older than me.
Yeah.
And behaving like a young person. And who was figuring things out and making mistakes and learning a lot. Mm-hmm. And that made me kind of seem wild and older to my younger friends. Mm-hmm. And I had a lot of older people being like, you need to grow up. And it's always funny. It's like when you're an older person dating a younger person, telling them to grow up, one of those two people needs to grow up, and it's probably not the younger person.
That's right. But you were on this amplified, life was amplified for you in a way at that age.
Amplified, and I was devouring it.
Yeah.
I was just devouring it, and it made me, I felt myself making excuses to people all the time for the way that I was acting, and just being kind of starting to embrace the I know I'm crazy, but and it took me a little while to be actually I'm not crazy at all. I was 22 in an unusual set of and 21 and 23. It was kind of from 8 I felt this way a lot from like 17 when I started thinking about working and moving out of the house to kind of like 24 was this period of time in my life. And I had to realize you were not crazy.
Yeah.
You were young.
Yeah.
And like with adult freedom and adult responsibility.
Yeah.
And you have now matured. And you were never crazy.
No.
And so
you were just trying to find your way.
Yeah. Just figuring it out and trying stuff. And I'm so proud of all the things I tried and learned about. And so happy because I love all the information that I gained and all the wisdom I have with which to maneuver my life right now. And I love my life right now. And it's like not crazy at all. It's like pretty ordinary. And I was, anyway, so I had to unlearn that.
Wow, Maya. A lot, what comes from those kinds of experiences, that amplification that you were devouring, is some wisdom. You've learned some things in a very short period of time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah. Last one in this round. 1, 2, or 3.
Okay. 3.
What's something you still feel you have to prove to people you meet?
Ooh. Really interesting. But I think the biggest thing, my weird chip that I've been working on learning to let go is the easiest way to hurt my feelings is if you say that I don't work hard or that I don't like that is my soft spot. And I think sometimes I work myself into a tizzy because I'm so afraid that someone is going to say that I don't work hard. And
where does that come from? The fear about someone judging your work ethic. Did it happen once or?
It probably comes from my dad. My dad works really hard and he's really busy and he puts his relationship to his work is like so the primary relationship in his life.
Yeah.
And he puts so much into it. And I think that I really wanted for a long time to show him that I can work as hard as he does.
Yeah.
And put as much into it as he does.
Yeah.
And I think I really had some wanting to he's always been proud of me. He would make fun of me talking like this, but I so deeply wanted him to be proud of me. And I felt like the best way to gain his pride was to be exhausted in the arts, you know?
Yeah.
Like to be taking on, be biting off the whole apple.
Yeah. And I can imagine that in the arts in particular, it's like you feel it is a privilege. It is a beautiful privilege to get to make art and to make a living doing it.
It's a huge privilege.
Based on the 40 minutes I've known you, I can already tell that you would know that so intrinsically that it is a privilege to get to do it. And the way you deal with that is be like, I am not going to take one day for granted.
Moment of this for granted.
That's right. I'm going to prove to people that I deserve my place here and I'm just going to work my butt off.
Yeah, and it was when I started kind of trying to untangle that, though I still totally have it. It's the number one way to hurt my feelings. But I said yes to doing a movie in Atlanta as like second on the call sheet, so like a big leading role at the same time as I was shooting season 4 of Stranger Things. And I was doing days on one movie and nights on the other. For that was 1 week of days and nights, but I was doing both and I didn't have one day off for 2 months.
That is crazy. When did the sleeping happen?
I bought a giant beanbag and I brought it with me everywhere. It was a really light beanbag. It was called a moon pod. And I bought a moon pod and I brought the moon pod with me everywhere I went.
So you just
in the backs of these vans.
Can.
And it was wolf naps. I was doing wolf naps. And it was in that period of time where the pride I had in what I was doing.
Yeah.
I'd kind of never felt better about myself. I was so cocky. Like, I'm amazing because I'm not taking care of myself.
Right.
And it was in that I started to unwind this pathology. But it's still I will, everyone who loves me in my life, when I say I'm saying yes to something, they're like, and what else are you doing at the same time? You know, are you sure you can handle that?
Yeah, right. Last round, beliefs. 1, 2, or 3?
1.
1. 2. Oh! Psych. 2. Are you preoccupied with the past, the future, or neither?
Oh. Well, why isn't both an option?
It can be.
I think I'm more preoccupied with the future these days. I think I used to be way more preoccupied by the past. I still am a little bit. There are some riddles of my life that I find myself, of when I was not an adult, when I was a kid, that I find myself continually trying to solve and unpack, and I'm preoccupied by that. But more and more, I'm less and less preoccupied by that, and more constantly thinking about what I want the future to look like. How am I going to move to Sweden? Do I think the Swedish embassy will accept me? Why didn't my mom get her Swedish passport? I think that it's the future that is really kind of winding me up these days.
Yeah.
And to the point to which I recently went to a party of some friends of mine from high school, and I just saw all these people that I hadn't seen in ages. And I got all of these memories just re-downloaded into my brain that I hadn't thought about in so long. Some were positive, some were negative, but they all felt positive to me. And I was just excited to be having them. And that felt like a moment where I was like, oh, personal growth has occurred. These things are not upsetting to me anymore. They're I haven't thought about them in 2 years, and it's so fun to think about them again. And so I think these days more the future, but that's kind of very new.
And is it to the point where it's debilitating in any way? Or you're able to
my husband and I balance each other out well. He does a good job of being okay, but what about today? What are we going to do today? What about this moment?
Yeah.
What about this time?
Yeah.
And I think that energy helps me a lot. I think that if I didn't have somebody like that in my life, it could become debilitating, but not necessarily because of anxiety about the future. I have more anxiety about the present. I didn't call that person back. What's going on with that person? Is that person mad at me?
Yeah.
That's where my anxiety lives. The future holds possibility and imagination. And I think that the way in which it would become debilitating, it would be about the preoccupation with imagining a beautiful day in the future that therefore does not allow you to enjoy the beautiful day you are in.
Yeah, I hear that. I mean, did you have to demonstrate that you were a person who understood anxiety before you were cast as anxiety in Inside Out 2?
Well, I cried during my audition, so I think maybe I just naturally demonstrated that I was... I cried because they told me the story. That you couldn't read the script or anything before you came and auditioned, obviously. So they told me the story, and just in hearing the story of that movie, I wept.
It's the most beautiful movie. It's the most beautiful
movie. I just love it. I love it so much. I'm so proud to have been anywhere near it.
Yeah.
And I really do struggle with anxiety. I think not in the way that. I think because I played Robin, who's very chatty and high energy, but what if this and da-da-da-da. And then because I played Anxiety, who also has that kind of energy, that's not the volume of my anxiety. And sometimes I tell people I don't have anxiety because it's not that kind.
Yeah, it doesn't show up that way.
It's more like a hippopotamus sitting on my chest. It's more like the feeling of this is going to go really bad. I just can't stop thinking about this thing.
Yeah.
but it's like lower and slow and like cold. Like whatever my anxiety animated character that lives in my brain, it's like blue.
Yeah.
And it's linked with sadness.
Yeah.
And my sadness and my anxiety and my anger are like all holding hands on the couch. And my anxiety is blue and my anger is very small. And my sadness is kind of happy.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, my sadness might be like pink. And that's I don't know, that's kind of the landscape
Because
of
you're compensating? Do you think your sadness tries to compensate for being sad by showing up as pink?
I think my anxiety, my sadness, I have ease with my dynamic with sadness. We have good communication.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm not afraid of sadness. Yeah. It's when I have some control stuff. And sadness doesn't interact with control. Sadness is like, we are sad this happened, there's nothing we can do to change it. How sad. I can hold that space, that sadness. The anxiety comes in because it's a sadness and an anger about something that I think I could change if I was smart enough. And I hate myself for not being able to fix it.
Yeah. Oh, those are all the toxic ingredients. Little self-loathing in there.
Yeah, yum.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Thank you.
Not
So
that
is
you
that
need me to
yours?
affirm your answers, but that really was.
I do. I like answers. I love affirmation also. I'm desperate for attention. I'm an artist. Do you know that Bo Burnham has that song? He's like, it's called The Artist. I think he wants it buried because you would only find it on YouTube. Or entertainers. Entertainers like to seem complicated, but they're not complicated. They're just have you ever been to a birthday party with toddlers? I don't know. It's like just that they're about entertainers are attention whores. I highly recommend listening to it. It's excellent.
1, 2, or 3?
Okay. 1. I mean it this time.
You do. Is there anything in your life that has felt predestined?
There are moments. I don't necessarily technically believe this, but the way I maneuver life and experience life communicates this information to me, which is like we all have many different paths like in front of us that we could go in.
Right.
It's like this is maybe a combination of free will and predestination. Is like every spirit has rooms full of doors that they walk into. And behind every door is a hallway full of doors. And if you, like, it would be like the fractal system of paths available to each individual.
Right.
And I can feel when I'm on the golden one. Like, it's not the only thing that could have happened.
Right.
And it didn't have to happen, and it wasn't guaranteed. I had to make strategic decisions to choose that door. And it wasn't always the door that was calling to me at the moment or the sexiest door or, whatever. But that I can feel it when I'm like, nope, even though this is hard, this is the golden path. This is the golden fractal sequence. This is where I'm supposed to be. In the version of myself that I most want to be. Like, this is maybe ridiculous to say, but sometimes I feel like there's like this really lonely, grumpy workaholic in my brain that is a character that I could have been. And she's fabulous. I have so much love for her. She thinks so much. She just works all the time and she makes as much money as possible and she's totally alone and by herself and she's in control of everything in her life and she sits in her apartment at night in total silence while she looks out the window at like the ocean crashing on the beach because of course she lives at the beach because why wouldn't she? She can. And that's a path that I feel like I could have walked down, And there are other ones that are less entertaining to describe. And I feel I can see the options that my spirit could have walked through in life. And I can feel when I'm choosing not necessarily the most fun or the one the darkest or whatever, but the path that I most want to be on. And there are moments where I feel that happen. And like one of them was when my husband and I decided to get a place in upstate New York, and we toured this house and we were like, we live here. Like, and this is the right path for us. We need to spend more time in nature. Yeah. We need to be here. We need to be in this house together. And we felt it like lock in, and it was in our price range. And it was like, yes. Yeah. And that's like a moment where I've been like, yes, okay, this is where we need to be.
You have a strong intuition, and that is a gift.
Last question. 1, 2, or 3?
Can I say you choose?
Yeah, you can say that. A little dealer's choice.
Okay, you choose. Yeah, dealer's choice. It's a new rule.
They're all so good.
I'm asking this one. You know why? Because I've never asked it of anyone.
Amazing.
And it feels kind of silly,
perfect.
but it's not. It can go to interesting places. So here we go. Maya Hawke.
Yeah.
Do you believe in ghosts?
Oh, wow. Amazing. I really thought that you were about to say God, and I was going to go skip.
I didn't say that.
I know.
Do you believe in spirits?
I don't believe in I don't believe in like dead people retaining agency over their consciousness in a consistent way where they are able to haunt. Like I don't
love you
believe
so
in
much
hauntings.
for taking this intellectually seriously, this question. Thank you. Okay, keep going.
I don't believe in hauntings.
Okay.
I do believe in magic very distinctly. And I once had an experience that I felt was a magical experience connected to someone who had passed. But it wasn't ghosty. It was like talking about someone, and then the moon reflected against the curtains in a very specific way that was the way that they used to talk about the moon. And it felt like, oh, hi.
Yeah.
But I think we can define ghosts, I will anyway, very broadly. I think
very
it's
broadly.
Presence, it's energy, it's moonlight on a curtain.
Yeah, and I believe that that energy cannot be created or destroyed, and that and I believe in the soul, and I believe that there's a you-ness that is absolutely you, that has nothing to do with your physical body, and that one day when you will die, you will graduate, and that energy will go somewhere, and I don't know where, but I believe in that.
Yeah.
And so, and in a way, that's a ghost.
Yeah, that was lovely.
Thank you.
We end the show the same way every time, with a trip in our memory time machine. In the memory time machine, Maya, you revisit one moment from your past. It's not a moment you'd change anything about. It's just a moment you'd like to linger in a little longer. Which moment do you choose?
Wow, it's so funny.
It's funny to sit with it, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, God, it really is such a reflection on, like, the more work I need to do in therapy, because, like, some part of me is, like, I would go back, and because I was so young when my parents split up, I would go back and feel that again.
Feel the togetherness again?
Yeah. And, like, because I barely remember, and I would go back to clarify the memory or something. But I'm trying to graduate from that parent trap level of therapy, which I do believe is level 1. And I've been in therapy for like 8 years. So in my effort to try to graduate into level 2 of therapy, I would say that I would really want to go back to a moment on Little Women that just to even go back in our conversation, I would go back and feel, I had this night, we were at the Royal Marine Hotel in Dunleary, Ireland, and they had a pool in the basement that was so beautiful. It was like 1980s glamour. Like it hadn't been refurbished in a really long time, but when it was built, it was like the best they could do. You know what I mean? Like, and it was, and I was down there in the water with now one of my best friends in the whole world, Willa Fitzgerald, who's an amazing actress. And we were having an argument about acting. And she's a little older than me, and I was fresh out of drama school, and I was so pretentious. I was so pretentious and so moralistic and so sure about everything I was saying, and my belief in the craft and in myself and my ability to do it was so intense. And I would love to go back and feel that feeling again. I would love for a second of a reminder of the belief in myself I had at 19 and try to bottle it and bring a little bit of it back to me at 27, 28, because that belief got me to where I am now. And I'm going to need some to get me where I want to go. And so I want to remember that feeling.
Maya Hawke, you can hear her on her new album. It is called Maitreya Corso. Maya Hawke, it has been such a pleasure. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you so much. I love talking to you, and I love your cards. And thank you. And I didn't skip.
You didn't skip. A+.
I didn't skip. I took them all.
A+.
I took them all.
I knew it.
Thank you.
I knew it. If you like this episode, and I hope you did, you can drop us a comment and let us know. We love hearing from you, truly. You can also like the video and subscribe to the channel to get more from Wildcard.